And sender. All right, there we go. Welcome everyone back to another Channel 2S stream. We are continuing our streak on day 3 with the continuation of the build of the high-grade load/Lord Astray Omega. I'm only actually just now noticing that this is technically called the Lord Astray Omega. As far as I knew, this was just like the base form, or maybe the Omega is the base form. I'm not actually sure because, again, I never really noticed it before. But yesterday, when we were building, we finished. Let me switch over to OBS so I can see my camera. We finished building the upper body of this kit, and while I thought the engineering was a bit lacking and the overall build felt a bit cheap, I do really, really like the way that this design looks. So I'm hoping that carries over to the lower body and weapons as well. Set you right over there. Refocus you. I'm gonna flip the little viewfinder out so I can preview that better. There we go. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Welcome Bot, welcome Mercury, welcome TypeSod. Glad to see you're here. I really hope I can get this kit done today. So yesterday, Zaku Aurelius managed to build an entire real grade God Gundam in 2 hours. I have literally no idea how he does it. I didn't watch the VOD, so maybe he I don't know, doesn't denub the kit or something. I have no idea how you could build a real grade that fast. I think AOZ is extremely okay. I would be a lot more impressed with it if less of the... I'd be more impressed if less of the mechanical designs were just the same 3 suits with their parts being reshuffled around. As for the Lord Astray, I'm not really seeing... Yeah, I don't really get Advance of Zeta vibes from this. This is very much a Gundam Seed design. Not just because it is literally from Seed, but this is very much like the Gundam Seed aesthetic. It's super spiky, it's super edgy. This is definitely not something you would see in the Universal Century. Be... No, I think he was doing the full build. I don't know how he does it. Wasn't there a guy in Build Fighters Try who could do that? I think there's a scene where a character builds up a high grade or an SD or something super fast. Pretty sure that was Build Fighters Try. Might have been something else. So you want to keep the mouse there. Yeah, he builds different. He's built different. So, we should be starting with the legs today. I'm going to keep the stickers over here in case I need them. There's my knife and my nippers. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was from Build Fighters Try. And I think it was an SD Gundam too. Oh, you know what? It might have been, I think it was the guy who had the Tryon 3. I think it was him. Because he was a really good builder in the story, and he also built the I think he also built the Mega Shiki for that other guy too, right? Because he was supposed to be the master builder or whatever. It's the main kid's dad, I think. Was it? I remember it being the kid with the Tryon 3. I don't know. I have not watched Build Fighters Try since it aired. So I don't really remember it that well. Alright, let's start with those feet. I'm just going to jump right into the build today because I do want to make sure that I'm able to finish this tonight. So the edited down video version of the Witch from Mercury stream that we did on the 31st is going to be going live tonight at around... I'm probably going to make it go live around 8 o'clock, so y'all can watch that when you're done with the stream. If you were here for the Witch from Mercury stream, it won't be anything new to you, but if you missed the stream or you want to go back and rewatch it, there you go. I think those are the only parts I need from those runners. Yes, just the black parts for the feet from the beat runners. I'm going to try and keep doing that for these streams as well. I've already edited down the first part of the Lord Astray video from yesterday's stream. I need 18. No, I remember a bit in the scene. It was a fire kid and the yellow jacket boy wanted a duel. Yes, that's exactly the scene. Yep, that is definitely the scene that I remember. I would say if you're going to watch Witch from Mercury, you should definitely watch the prologue because it does have some fairly important background information. Although it is entirely possible that they could summarize that as like a flashback in the first episode, but I would say the prologue is pretty important to watch if you're going to see the show. In retrospect, looking back in a post-Build Divers world, I have a feeling that I would feel a lot more fondly towards Build Fighters Try if I rewatched it nowadays. I might have been too harsh on it when I first saw it. Because compared to original Build Fighters, it was not that great, but in retrospect, looking at the general quality of like the Build series as a whole, Build Fighters Try is not really that bad. But again, I feel like I'd have to rewatch it to really make sure. I do give Re-Rise a lot of credit though for having the balls to do something that I don't think anyone saw coming. That was a pretty good way to refresh and revitalize a show that just about nobody was invested in at that point. And I think that whole twist worked so well because they were in the status quo for so long. Like, it was, 13, 12 episodes in when they revealed the whole Planet Eldora thing. That was a pretty good way to get people, like, re-interested in the show, because the first half of that show felt even longer because it was like so sort of generic and kind of more of the same. But it was also generic and more of the same in the same way that the entirety of the first season of Build Divers was. So when you get like halfway through Re-Rise and they hit you with that reveal, it kind of hits you in the face like a brick. And next episode after that, you better believe I was paying full attention because they really turned that show around. So that's a pretty standard pair of feet, very basic, just have the little swivel ball joint polycap. So now some legs. Oh, we're doing one leg at a time. Oh, I was just talking about Build Divers Re-Rise. Nothing crazy. Those three. And then these bits form that joint. That piece goes there. So it's 10, 13, 14, 15. 10, 11, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, it looks like they're using the clip joints again for the knees. I think those are both pretty good kits. Age FX, Goof Custom, they're definitely a little bit on the older side, but they're both still really cool models. I think you're going to enjoy the Age FX more. It's got a little more functionality to it. You've got the funnels and the kind of cool like display ring that you can put them on. The Goof Custom's a bit more basic, but it is still a really cool kit. I ordered a high-grade 00, got a 00 Diver Sky, returned it, and got an RG Exia. Probably regret. So, do you mean that you ordered a regular high-grade 00 and they sent you a 00 Diver Sky? Or did you buy both? Because if they sent you the wrong kit, that is really weird, but that does happen sometimes. I know a friend of mine one time just randomly got an extra Thunderbolt GM in his order. It wasn't even in case of another kit, they just put another kit in on accident. Oh, really? So you ordered one kit and they sent you the wrong one? That's funny. Although, to be honest, though, I think the 00 Sky is a better kit than the regular 00. So it's not too bad of a trade. Okay, so there's those bits for that joint. And now we need 11 and 15. Yep. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed building the 00 Sky. I thought that was a really cool kit. I already liked the high-grade 00 to begin with, and I really liked some of the new elements they added to that kit. And just visually, it's just such a cool-looking design, too. Okay, so these are gonna... I know some people like to file or sand down the nubs in their kits, but that just seems so slow and tedious to me. Another occasion, I bought a HGC Unicorn to be my first kit. Didn't arrive for a month when it said 2 weeks delivery, so I refunded it and still got the kit. Plus, it didn't return it. That's cool. Yeah, that happens sometimes, especially if you're ordering from like random third-party sellers on Amazon. That happens sometimes. I've definitely had that happen before. I've ordered kits from Amazon sellers before, and they arrived in, like, one of them arrived in a box that was, like, cut down to the exact dimensions of the kit box, so that every dent and crush and rip that was inflicted on the outer shipping box was transferred right through to the kit box on the inside, and it was pretty much destroyed. That's always fun. That's why whenever I get kits off Amazon, I always made sure that they were from Amazon directly, and nowadays I don't even get them at all from them. Amazon used to be kind of okay when they'd have, like, kits on sale from time to time, because sometimes they just have, like, you know, way too many, I don't know, Master Grade Death Size Hells, for example, and they'd clearance them out for, like, $35 or something crazy. But nowadays they don't do that anymore. In fact, I'm not sure there's much of anything as far as Gunpla that Amazon themselves directly sells. Or that Amazon themselves sell directly, so I just get them from regular hobby shops. Which is just as well, since I don't really like ordering from Amazon in general. I feel like the Amazon experience has really, just in general, kind of gone downhill in the last few years. Their site's a pain in the ass to use, there's so many fake listings. It's, you know, you do a search and you get all this random SEO-optimized garbage that has nothing to do with what you're looking for. Yeah, I built it. That was my Master Grade Blitz. The box was really beat up, but the kit itself was more or less intact. I think there were a couple runners that were broken, but as far as the parts themselves go, it was all good. I also had my Master Grade 2.0 Zeta Gundam. The box looked like it had been water damaged. I think there was, like, the bottom was all, like, ripply and stained, and you could tell the manual inside had gotten wet. Now, obviously, that didn't matter for the actual kit itself because, you know, it's plastic, but still. I don't think I've had a single, like, completely seamless experience on Amazon. I feel like every time I've ordered a kit from them, something's gone wrong. Except for my Master Grade Red Frame. That actually came pretty much intact. Yeah, eBay I found is as much of a crapshoot as Amazon. Yeah, that's... Your success rate with Amazon sounds about par for the course to me. Yep, that's all the pieces. Okay, so... quite a few stickers here. Fortunately, they're all just the little sensor pieces, so... it's all pretty sensible. No pun intended. Yeah, shipping from HLJ is insanely expensive. That's really the case, though, no matter where you're getting kits from in Japan. If you're importing the kits yourself, you gotta pay up. The courier FedEx made me pay twice for delivery. Oh, well, yeah, that also is not great. 17. Oh, I see. There are little black bits on the side of the... Yeah, I'm not going to put those on. Those look ugly. So that and this just kind of combine, like so. There's not anything between those? They just kind of... Oh, okay, yeah. parts kind of clip together like that. Gonna pop this in here. Day of the week is it today? It is Friday. All right. I do like the some parts of this kit have not great color separation, but then there's other times where you get this really nice layering between the red, the black, and the white. And that metallic red, that black, and the white really do look nice together. It's a really cool color combination. I like that a lot. You go this way, right? And then, how now? What? How does this? Oh, like that. Big tab goes forward into here. Yes, I do. I focus. My channel is 99.999 focused on Gunpla just because that's what gets views. I do occasionally make videos about other stuff, but they generally don't perform super well. Where do you go? Oh wait, that's the wrong piece. It's this one. This goes here. Which of these 27 pegs does it go into? This one, okay. So that goes there. Which of these goes down? So what are you guys at home building right now? Any projects you got going on? Any kits you're building? Painting projects? Where does this go? Oh, this goes... Shit, that goes in first. There we go. Which way do you go? Hole facing back. And then they connect back together. So he has a little bit of front to back ankle movement here. And then when this joint's connected, it rotates side to side. Okay, that's not too bad. Mark II Titans, nice. That's the I think you said you're doing the Master Grade 2.0, right? Oh wait, I don't need this piece yet. That's for the upper leg. Now I need 16. Oh, you literally said Master Grade in the message. I didn't see that. C14. Yeah. The 2.0 Mark II, I've heard good things about, but I don't know. I've never built it myself because I didn't really like the proportions on the head. Something about it just looks kind of stretched out and off to me. It's not the B runner, that's the E runner, which is here. 21. Oh, it's the big one. Oh, a Hariru, nice. Master Grade Astray, very cool. What do I think about Seed getting a lot of 1/100 love lately? I mean, what do you mean by lately? Like, Seed's always getting 1/100 love, but I think it is cool they're making modern kits of the Raider Calamity Forbidden team, just because they haven't really gotten anything despite the deluge of Seed kits that we normally get, so that is kind of cool. I do really, really like the MGX Strike Freedom. And I would kind of like an updated Destiny to go with it. Overall, though, I don't really mind when Bandai puts out new Seed kits, because while I don't like Seed that much as a show, I do really enjoy most of the designs from it. So as long as they're keeping it fresh and interesting by not just recycling the same 5 Gundams over and over again, I am perfectly happy. I'd really like to see them do a Master Grade Akatsuki. Legend I could take or leave, but Akatsuki would be really, really cool. And I guess Gaia Gundam would be nice too. I was kind of disappointed when they did the Zaku Warriors, because I do really like that design, but I don't like the really heavy redesign they did for the Master Grade. It's grown on me a bit since I built Luna Mario Zaku, but overall I'm still not really loving it. I could see them doing a perfect grade new Gundam, honestly. Like, leaks and fake leaks aside, perfect grade new Gundam would make a lot of sense, especially nowadays, now that they have the new Gundam statue. I missed a nub on that. There we go. Personally, though, I would love to see a perfect grade Sinanju. It would definitely be kind of a left field choice, but that would be so cool. Like, that is such a beautiful design. Seeing that in like 1/60th scale, full detail, fully color separated, just intricately detailed, that would be such a cool kit. So what goes on next? You go right here. Wait, I'm missing something. Oh, no, I'm not. It's for the next step. Let's set that there. The line between Master Grade and full mechanics is really blurred when it came to Zaku Warriors and the Raider. Yeah, agreed. If not for the slightly incomplete inner frame, I could see them considered a Master Grade. Yeah, and honestly, I could see it going the other way with the Zaku Warrior as well. That was not that much better than a full mechanics for a Re-100. And yeah, perfect grade sleeves would be so cool. So, let me grab the other parts that I need for the upper leg. Also this bit here. There's this really nice conversion kit for the Master Grade Sinanju that adds not just sleeve color separation, but just a ton of detail to it. It's basically like one of those resin conversion kits you see for a lot of Master Grades, but it's injection molded plastic, so you don't need to do all the painting and finishing work that you would for a resin kit. Takumi Studios, I believe, is the name of the company that makes it. This needs a polycap, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Man, it's so rare to actually be dipping into the polycap runner on this kit. So there's no, I mean, I guess it's kind of normal nowadays for high grades to not have polycaps for the elbows and knees, but usually they use like that older style connector where you have like the two pieces sandwiched together with like the two rotating hinge parts, and that's generally pretty sturdy. But this kit is going with the 30-minute mission style clip connectors, so yeah, probably not going to be as sturdy in the long run, but I mean, it is what it is. Or actually, well, I guess for the knees, it's kind of doing a combination of the two, because this lower knee joint is like what I just talked about, where you kind of sandwich the parts together, and then the upper joint is the clip style. I'm so glad they're not using that all Gundam style project hip design anymore, where it was like, where you had the polycap that just attached on like, was it a polycap? I don't know if it was, I don't remember if it was a polycap or just a piece that was polycap shaped, but like the hip connection was only attached on like one side instead of both, so it was like kind of weird and flimsy feeling. That was not a good time for Gunpla engineering. That whole like 2013, 2014 era, they were kind of experimenting with ways that they could make the kits simpler and more efficient to design, and just like really kind of like how they're doing now, they sort of went overboard a bit. But then in 2015, they started doing the Revive kits, and they introduced some new engineering tricks with those that took some of the elements that they kind of experimented with in the All Gundam Project line and sort of more fully realized and fleshed them out so that they weren't quite as kind of rickety feeling. I especially like that the Revive kits added this, actually I can show you right here on this piece. The Revive kits added this ridge that you see at the base of the thigh peg, because on the All Gundam Project kits they didn't have this, so you just had these two pieces that would slide together, and only the friction of the plastic peg was all that was basically holding the leg of the kit on, so if you picked it up sometimes the legs would literally just drop right off. On a lot of my kits from that era, I actually had to take a little bit of Scotch tape and wrap it around the peg just to get them to hold together properly. But then with the Revive RX-78, they introduced the little groove in the peg and a little ridge inside of the hole, so that when you push these together, they actually lock in place. That was a really big improvement they made. Yeah, you go. How do these layer on? Okay, that just points forward like that. So you grab this piece. And then it attaches to the red one like so. Oh yeah. More of that lovely color layering. It is kind of interesting to build the limbs for this kit, because instead of like you know, left side, right side, you're kind of almost building it as like a sandwich where you have like top, middle, lower middle, bottom, and it all kind of sandwiches together to get this color separation effect. That looks really nice. And yeah, the upper knee joint, let me get this in focus. The upper knee joint that uses the clip joint definitely does feel a little bit looser than the lower joint. Yeah, it's kind of a shame. When I'm done with this kit, I might go back and build an older high grade just to relive the days when high grade construction wasn't like this. Oh, welcome to the stream, Rexy. Yeah, I could see them doing a perfect grade Barbatos as well. That would be pretty likely. Which side is this? This is the... Come on, there you go, right side leg. No ankle armor, the foot just kind of pegs straight on here like that. Yeah, the 2013 kits was where they first tried to like standardize the construction of high grade models, and you see it with a lot of the Build Fighters and Build Fighters Tri kits, as well as the HGUC kits that came out around that time. I'm talking like 2013, 2014, roughly. It's where they also introduced the shoulder poly caps that instead of rotating forward, rotate up, which is something you see. Or actually, wait, maybe that was that was a Revive thing. All Gundam Project introduced this smaller polycap runner versus like the really big old one that like the 00 kits use. That was an All Gundam Project thing as well. And I call it All Gundam Project just because that's what Bandai called that tech when they first introduced it. But I don't think they like officially marked it on the boxes. It was just kind of a internal Bandai term / fan term for that era of kits. So I don't have a waist yet, so that leg's just gonna sit over there. Now I build another. Oh yeah, Dipper, I love when my kits are constructed out of C-clips. That's just the best. They're so durable and they just last so long and they're so tight and you get such a great range of motion. They're just the best way to do model kit joints. And we have our first cleared runner, runner C4, which you would think would be the fourth C runner, but it's actually only the second because the numbering system this kit uses makes no sense. So I need some gray parts. That's gonna be... I think they did include some rival Gundams in the All Gundam project. I know their focus was on making lead Gundams, but I think they did... Right? Like, they did some rival Gundams, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe not. I need to brush up on Dalong to be sure. Yeah, Epion high grade would be awesome. Epion master grade would be really cool. I could see a lot of those rival Gundams working more so as real grades than as new high grades, like, you know, real grade Providence, real grade Reborns. Oh, dude, imagine a real grade Legulus. That'd be literally impossible, but so cool. I love that design. Like, I don't really like Age that much in general, but the Legulus is just such a cool Gundam design. Is that? No, it's not everything. I still need the white parts. So, I don't think there was anything on the F runner for that. No. I do, however, need a single polycap for the hip. Yeah, but the pain of Korean spicy noodles is a good pain, though. No, the tall geese don't have any high grades yet. And, well, I usually don't see them doubling up on high grades and real grades, especially when the real grade's fairly recent. I really wouldn't mind a high grade tall geese just because I don't really like the proportions of the real grade that much. I think the shape of the traditional tall geese legs, where it has like the really wide thighs that kind of taper down to the lower legs, is a really distinctive part of the design. And then on the real grade, it just has like these weird tree trunk limbs that are the same diameter all the way down, and it just looks so weird to me. There's that polycap, and then I feel like this blade might be getting a little dull. The high-grade Evangelion kits are kind of crappy, but the real grades are really cool. The high-grade Evangelion kits, I believe, were made back in the 90s, and they're actually not even up to the standard that you would probably expect from a high-grade Gunpla. I forgot the entirety of the Black Runner. There we go. This might be a shorter stream than I expected since I'm actually making really good progress on this. Yeah, there was a reprint of them recently, and the criticism they get is pretty well deserved. They're not very good models. In fact, the new real grades we got are kind of the first, like, good Evangelion kits we've gotten, because the perfect grade Eva 1 they did back in 98, 99, I think, was pretty bad as well. Like, I know a guy who built it, and he, there was not much that he enjoyed about that kit. It's got like these weird rubber sleeves that you have to like push the limbs down into after you build them. There should be a Discord link in my community tab. You might have to scroll down a ways to find it because it's one of my earlier posts, but it should be there. And if not, when I'm done with the build, I'll see if I can put a link in the chat or something. Wait, did I? No, I didn't denub this. Surprisingly, Chris, none of this is recycled from the red frame. That's what kind of surprised me about this model. This is either new tooling or used tooling from the Build Divers Lord Astray variant, because not a single runner here is taken from the old red frame Astray mold. And by old, I mean like the 2014 one. This is... Every single runner for this kit actually is marked as Lord Astray, because a lot of the runners for the Build Divers Astray, the ones that were designed to be used for this kit, were actually pre-marked as Lord Astray. So technically, this entire kit is all Lord Astray parts. Stream's been up for less than an hour. I'm just building my way through the legs ball. Making pretty good progress, so this might actually be a shorter stream than I was expecting, because I was thinking this might end up taking a little bit longer than it actually is. So, you two just go together like that. You know what? Let me check something. He didn't. Okay, never mind. I was going to recommend you a review of the Perfect Rate Evangelion, but I guess the guy who built it didn't actually review it, so never mind. Might have been in another video, maybe. Yep. I got the kit. I built the first half yesterday, finishing up the lower body and the weapons today. Which goes, I think the part layering on this kit is so satisfying. Something else is supposed to go in the middle there. Yep, it's this piece. Building the second leg is always so much easier because you can use the first one as reference. Oh, well, despite that, I still completely forgot to add the knee joint before I finished it. Alright, cool. I'll check those out after the stream. Yeah, this was one of those kits that unfortunately came out kind of at the peak of the whole scalper bot situation, and this thing was gone like that. Back then, what I would do if there was a P Bandai kit that I wanted was I would sit on the P Bandai website at like 8:58, 8:59, and the moment it hit 9 o'clock and I refreshed the page and I saw it in stock, I just snapped it then. Because that was, back then, that was the only way you were getting a hold of something like this. Same deal with stuff like the Phantom Gundam. What else? Oh yeah, I think the Asclepius' first batch was like that too. It was gone really, really fast. And the F90s as well. Thankfully, Bandai seems to have fixed the botting issue because ever since the last probably couple months or so, maybe even more than that actually, I haven't had too much of an issue getting a hold of the kits that I wanted to get. And it seems like most of the hype kits managed to stay in stock at least until the next morning. Yeah, the legs are actually my favorite part of the build so far, just because I really like the sort of kind of horizontal layering that they got going on. Make sure that's in focus again. There we go. See, these side bits feel like they're supposed to be like this, you know, like kind of pointing down like this, but the manual says you're supposed to have the pointy bit forward, so we'll see how that looks when it's all together. Feel bad for everyone. Oh yeah, the Eclipse Gundam, that was another big one. The Eclipse Gundam and the Gundam Virtue were really, really hard to get. Those weren't P Bandai though, that was just... A big part of that I think was distribution too, where a lot of stores just weren't getting enough copies of those kits. How does this go together? Like this, right? Oh yeah. That is so clean. It would be kind of nice if he had more knee articulation, though. Like, wait, am I missing something? Nope. This is literally all you get. This is both joints extended as far as they go. It's a little bit more than 90 degrees. Man. Modern Gunpla really is something else. It's like they make everything really cool and really lame at the same time. Yeah, so it's got C-clip knees, or kind of combination C-clip knees. So there's a C-clip for the top joint, and then the bottom joint is more like your classic Gunpla knee joint where you have like the two halves with like the loop pieces that go in between them and then sandwich shut. And yeah, it's just barely over 90 degrees for a very heavily melee-based suit that you're going to want to put into a lot of cool dynamic anime poses. I'd say that's a pretty big L on Bandai's part. But then again, they made the kit like this and it still sold out several times over anyways, so who's the real loser in this situation? Oh, there's stickers on the upper legs. I didn't even see those. Yeah, it probably does. This is very much the kind of leg bend you'd expect from kits of that era. Hold on. So that was decal 10. And I put that on the right. Okay, never mind. For a second there, I thought they had the instructions put the decals on the wrong legs. This one's a little bit of an annoying one to get in place because you kind of have to loosely rest it on the part and then slide it into position because it hooks underneath the vent in the top of the thigh. Yeah, I've heard horror stories about the Philippines P Bandai shop. It's having a lot of issues still that were resolved in the US P Bandai shop. Like, we used to have it just as bad, but in a few months' time, they pretty quickly worked out a lot of issues that, from what I've seen, the Philippine store is still dealing with. I don't think they released the Eclipse head with I don't think they released the Eclipse Gundam with Justice head unless there's some other variations of some other modifications that are made to the Gundam as well as just the head swap. And yeah, being a Gunpla fan in the UK is suffering. So there's the legs, despite their pathetic articulation for a 2022 model. Oh hey, this is that song that has a minute and a half of silence at the end. Let me just skip past this real quick. There we go. You know, with 120 songs in this playlist, you wouldn't think that one song would come up so often, but I feel like it does almost every stream. But yeah, like I was saying about the legs, aside from their really underwhelming articulation, they are very cool looking. And honestly, that's kind of the way I feel about this kit in general, is it looks really cool, and yet it's so disappointing in every other aspect. Did I miss any other stickers? No, I didn't. Just the ones around the ankle that I'm not going to put on. Now it's time for the waist. Okay, so that's not on this runner. Waist, and then the backpack, and the giant anime sword. Yeah, they are really cool legs. I love the I love the color design on this kit, where you have like the different layers of colors and the sort of the red lines running through the body. It almost kind of reminds me of that thing they did with the 00 Gundams, where they had the GN cables that would like run through the arms and legs. I think it's a similar sort of idea with this kit too, because in Crossrays, when you use some of his super attacks, these red parts on his body actually glow. That is another empty runner. Oh, he has an extra set of shoulder pieces. The black parts in the shoulder, you get an extra pair of them. Yeah, the stickers are looking nice so far because I've been leaving off the crap ones. There is a gray one. Let me get the camera focused for the 400th time. There's this gray one that you're supposed to put around the bottom of the waist here that I left off because it looked like crap. And then there's these black ones that you're supposed to put on the edge of these vents here, but I also left those off because, again, I don't think they look very good. So I've been very selectively making sure that I only put on the good stickers. This looks like a waist piece, but it's not. It's for the backpack. And speaking of stickers, it looks like the front skirts have a pair of stickers on them that completely envelop the entire piece. Because why make those parts out of gray plastic when you can just slather them with stickers? All right, bot, have a nice night. I'm not going to have a full stream VOD up on the channel, but there will be I'll make kind of like a edited down sort of build/review of the Lord Astray that I'll upload later. There's another. Really starting to clear out these runners now. Here we go. So there's those three, there's those two parts. And then I just need F1, 2, and 3. Yeah, it's so... I feel like the stickers around the whole parts is just comically bad, because, like, come on. You literally might as well just make the part out of a completely different colored plastic at that point. Not 4, just 3. What are we at? We're just over an hour right now. And despite that, we're most of the way done with the build. Just another minute. And so if memory serves, the giant anime sword is kind of the only weapon that this kit has. He can take the middle part of the sword out to form like a chain whip, but I don't think he has any other weapons beside that. At least not that I remember from the game. Man, I really wish we'd get more Gundam manga translated into English. So frustrating to see all these cool designs from Astray and Crossbone and the like and not being able to actually enjoy the media that they're from. Oh yeah, the red stickers on the red stickers in the Zeta backpack were so dumb, and what made it even worse was when they released the second version of the Zeta Gundam that had the correct color separation as a P. Bandai kit. Like, they knew they could have done it, and then they literally did it. But they didn't do it for the main kit. That was really annoying. I wouldn't have even minded paying a little bit more for the base model if it did that from the get-go. Just to have the correct color separation. Oh yeah, Strays have awesome melee weapons. But sometimes they have other weapons as well, like how the blue frame second L has those little knives hidden in it. Or the red frame has both the katana and the other weapons, like the Buku head and the flight pack and the like. And the beam sabers. This guy doesn't have beam sabers, I don't think. I think he's just got the one big sword. No rifle, no shield. Yeah, that was Salt on the Wound. Oh yeah, high-grade Amaterasu would be awesome as well. I loved both of those suits in Cross Race. They might have made the early missions a little too easy, but they were so much fun to use. Yeah, so there is not a chance that I am ruining this kit by putting these stickers on these parts. That is not going to happen. Those ones are staying on the sheet. It's kind of cool how normalized swing forward hips have become on high grades. Not that long ago, that used to just be a master grade thing. Yeah, that's not a bad route to take, especially if you know how to paint, but sometimes when I see kits that have stickers that I think are reasonable, I put them on anyways. Like with the Astray here, you know, these metallic green stickers for the sensors and the legs. Like, yeah, I could paint those, but the stickers themselves look pretty cool. They're that nice metallic foil. It gives the sensors a little bit of shine, so that kind of stuff I like to put on. But when it comes to the big color stickers, those are the ones that I don't really like to do. This goes on the back, I think, right? Yeah. These two kind of combine together. Oh, I see. These combine together. And then this gets involved somehow. Like that? Like that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's all coming together. This guy's got quite the tail. Oh yeah, Master Grade Sinanju stickers are practically unacceptable for a Master Grade. They 100% should have color separated that kit properly. Is there? No, okay, so there's a little gap here, but that's the, there's a little gap in the back of the back skirt armor for the stand adapter to go in, or the stand connector, I guess, because you don't need an adapter for this. It's interesting how some of the more recent new mold kits that I've built, at least the P Bandai ones, seem to be moving away from having the stand connector drilled into the waist here, and they're kind of, you know, like some of them, like the Geminis has like a stand adapter that plugs into it like a real grade, and then with some of the other ones like the Lord Astray, they're kind of moving the peg away from the waist a bit. Let's see, which way do these wrap around? Looks like the long side goes to the back. Like this. No polycap for the side skirts, just styrene on styrene. No polycaps anywhere in the waist, actually. This is all styrene connections. Only polycaps are in the ankles, the hips, the connection between the waist and the abdomen, and the connection between the abdomen and the chest. And the shoulders. He's so spiky, it's kind of hard to get a good grip on him. And yeah, literally right, even in the moments that I'm like putting this kit together, I can already tell that like some joints are a little looser than others. And nothing's like floppy loose, like if I, you know, wiggle the kit around, it's not going to flop around, but you can just kind of tell when you're handling the kit that some of the joints give a little bit easier than the others do. Oh, and by the way, this guy doesn't have any alternate hands, so just like with the IBO kits, you literally just get the grab hands and that's it. No closed fists, no open relaxed hands, which is kind of lame, to be honest. I always like having at least something for the left hand, so if he doesn't have a weapon in his offhand, he can just have it resting a little more naturally than the kind of weird, unnatural grabbing position. And yes, Josh, this is a kit that can physically hurt you. And yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the white front skirts. I think if you don't like intimately know the design well enough to know they're supposed to be gray, they look totally fine. Especially if you go in and you line some of the details on this with a marker. Like, that's going to look totally fine. And speaking of looking totally fine, this kit looks pretty good. I like his, he's got kind of like a doubled up back skirt where there's... Oh, I can actually take this off. He's got like a small basic back skirt under here, but then he's got the big XS one that goes on top. Total overkill, but hey, that's what the Astray line's all about. Yeah, I really like this design. Oh, hello, big boy. You're just in time to see me complete the kit. All I have to build now is just the backpack and the weapons. No, Master Grade Sandrock hands would not be even remotely close to the right size for this. They are fairly generic hands, though, and since they're black, you could probably just grab hands from some sort of generic hand set and be okay. Maybe like the ones from one of those Build Fighters packs that just gives you all the different hand options. I would probably look at one of those if you want to get different hands for this. In my experience, though, you're not going to find any sort of Master Grade hands that work on high grades. Yeah, over the top and simple is definitely a good way to put it. Oh, he does have... Okay, I see how his weapons work now. So, he has one big sword, but it breaks up into a bunch of smaller swords. That's actually kind of cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out all the remaining parts since they're all used for the weapon, just to make this go a little bit faster. Not that we need to go fast anyways, we're already way ahead of schedule. That looks like another runner cleared. Just do more of the same for the other E runner. Yeah, it is pretty much the Advent Choden Buster sword. If it's split up into 7 smaller swords, or actually 1, 2, 3. If it's split up into 4 smaller swords. No, this isn't a master grade. This is a high grade. And yeah, you can generally swap between master grade hands, and you can pretty much always swap between high grade hands. The only reason it's a little bit more hit or miss with master grades is because they aren't as consistent in their engineering as high grades are. Like, basically every high grade ever made uses the exact same wrist joint because they all use the same polycap runner, so you can very easily swap parts between them, but there's quite a bit more variety in the frame design for master grade, so that's not always the case. Well, that one looks done too. And then I could just... I think one of his attacks in Crossrays might have been pretty close to an Omni Slash, actually. I need to go back and look at the compilation of all his attacks. Yeah, you can swap hands and weapons between Seed and Wing models because they use the same base frame. I'm really interested in seeing how these swords work. Yeah, it is a lot like the Quant, actually. I think there was a weapon in the build custom line that was similar to this too. Where you had a big sword that split into a bunch of... Or actually, no, I think that was a Kotobukiya weapon. That was like the jumbo sword that splits into smaller swords. I don't know if they'll release more Moon kits. I'm not sure. I don't think we got the Moon Gundam model kit because Moon was successful as a manga. I think we got a Moon Gundam model kit because they put a lot of money into promoting the manga. I'm not sure how successful it actually was. We got the Moon Gundam and we got the Varg-wheel, which was a pretty easy reuse of that mold. Unless there's like a third mobile suit in that manga that uses the same basic body type as the other two, I'm not sure we're going to see anything else from Moon. I definitely don't think we'd get any like new mold kits from Moon. I'd say that would be extremely unlikely. But then again, I would have said the same thing about Advance of Zeta 10 years ago, and here we are now with more Advance of Zeta kits than you could shake a stick at, so... You can never really tell what Bandai's going to do. Yeah, the Theta Plus is a pretty cool design. There's a lot of neat stuff in Moon Gundam, but I feel like a lot of them... The issue with them is a lot of them are variants of existing mobile suits, but they're very like extensive reworks of them, so you couldn't use a whole lot of tooling from existing models. Like, I can't remember the name of it, but there's like a variant of the Jigen that looks cool, but you would never be able to retool that from a high-grade Jigen just because too much of the body has changed. You'd basically need to make a whole new mold. The Jedi, I think it was called. Yes, okay, that's the one. It was the Wing Zero Honuo magazine set that had... Because I remember now, the sword had, like, the Wing Zero feathers on it. Yep, that's the one. Yeah, they could have done it just to test out new techniques and features. In retrospect, it's actually kind of impressive what they did with that kit, because usually when we get... They did something kind of similar with Thunderbolt, where when the manga came out, they made a bunch of kits to promote it, but the Thunderbolt kits were kind of under-engineered compared to a lot of what we had at the time, while with Moon Gundam, they literally pulled out all the stops and gave us one of the most insane high grades we've ever gotten. I'm assuming those are scrap parts that are just left over. Did I denub these yet? I don't remember. I cannot remember if I denubbed these, so I'm just going to go over them again anyways. It would seem that I did not. First of all, it's absolutely wild to think that Build Fighters is almost 10 years old. Secondly, I would say... It's hard to say, because I already did the real grade and master grade build strike, and those would be like the obvious things to do. Maybe a real grade star build strike? Or maybe a master grade build burning for the 10th anniversary of Try. I mean, I'd take pretty much any excuse for a master grade build burning at that point. That is such a clean design. I feel like it's kind of an underrated one too, like not enough people appreciate the build burning. It kind of gets lumped in with all the other build suits that are just variations of existing designs. And like, yeah, it's kind of based off the Impulse in some ways, but it's more so just very loosely visually inspired by the Impulse and kind of takes it and makes it its own thing. I love the color scheme too. That red on the chest looks really nice. I don't even know if we're getting another Thunderbolt movie fan made. It's either been canceled or indefinitely suspended. Apparently, Bandit Flower didn't do as well as Bandai hoped. Which is unfortunate because not only did they end the movie on a cliffhanger, but it was a really good movie. I still really enjoy the Thunderbolt movies and go back and watch them to this day. Okay, here we go. So here's our sword bits. I shouldn't have cut all these out at once. There's so many similar looking parts. Okay. So this goes here. And yeah, the Moon Gundam does feel absolutely insane for a high grade. Like, it almost feels like it shouldn't be called a high grade. Like, it needs its own grade. Oh, it's got like a slide-out handle, I think. Is that what this is supposed to? I'm sorry if I bumped the mic there, by the way. I kind of had to lean in to see the manual for this. The way this goes? No, it goes this way. Right? I think. Huh. Okay, what a weird way for... I mean, trust the process, I guess, but this is a weird way to assemble a sword. Doesn't seem like there's any way you could get the handle out without literally disassembling... Oh god, you're not supposed to actually disassemble the sword, like, down to the bare pieces to get it to transform, are you? Because that would suck if you do. Master Grade Moon Gundam would be pretty awesome. I almost feel like I don't even need one, though, with how great they made the high grade. Yeah, if they were... Yeah, Dipper, that's true. If they were going to do anything more for Thunderbolt, they would have done it for the 10th anniversary, and literally all they did was release some recolors of the existing high-grade models. Whoop-de-freaking-do. Didn't even make a Master Grade Atlas. Well, it's funny you mention that, big boy, because... Let me reread your comment to make sure I understood you right. Just doing movies and short stories. Well, yeah, so if you were here for literally the stream that we did the day before yesterday, which, by the way, if you want to get caught up on it, I'll have an edited video of it going up later tonight, but we were actually talking about Witch from Mercury, which is a full-length Gundam TV show that's going to be coming out this fall, so... Yeah, Bandai is doing a full-length story. It just took them a while to make it, because typically when it comes to like full-length Gundam TV shows, they usually make one every like 3 to 4 years or so. They're usually spaced out a bit. So, while it does feel like it's been a really long time since IBO, it's actually not as long in this. When you look at like the overall lifetime release schedule of Gundam, it's not that big of a wait, although it is a little bit longer than normal. Hey, Gold Cat, the build's going well. I'm actually almost done with it. I just got to do the weapons and parts of the backpack. Yeah, the prologue was pretty cool. Where do you go? Yeah, big boy, the video is dropping around, probably around 8 o'clock tonight. Wait, is there another piece that goes in here? No? Okay. Well, I guess these just... I would love to see them revisit Thunderbolt, but I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen. And yeah, Thunderbolt is 10 years old, which, to be fair though, the 10th anniversary is for the manga, not the anime, which started quite a ways before the anime did. I believe the manga started back in, well, I mean, obviously it had to start in 2012. Otherwise, this wouldn't be the anniversary of it. And that does check out because I remember around 2013, around the time Build Fighters came out, I definitely remember looking online at Gunpla and seeing a few of the early Thunderbolt kits. So I would say, yeah, it was around 2012. And yeah, that happy birthday scene in the prologue was pretty emotional. Yeah, they're doing the G-Reco comp movies. It's funny because they technically exist, but I've heard basically nothing of, like, people actually watching them. Like, I don't know anyone who's even seen them. Like, they exist, and, like, it's not even like you can't watch them. Like, there's, you know, they're not officially released by, like, Gundam Info or anyone, but, you know, as is always the case with anime on the internet, there are ways to get your hands on it, and despite that, I don't know of anyone that's actually seen it. Even more so with the IBO special editions. Like, I don't even know if those have been subbed in English. I don't even know if they've been released online. They might be a theater-only thing. And yeah, we are getting, like Malachor. The Master Grade releases we've gotten so far for 2022 and we have projected into the rest of the year are absolutely pathetic. Literally the only things we've gotten in retail were the 2 Dom retools and the MGX Strike Freedom. And yeah, that Strike Freedom's cool, but that's basically the only, like, proper Master Grade we've gotten for the entire year, and it looks like it's the only one we're getting for the entire year, which is really disappointing. So what's the other part that goes in here? Oh, I see. So that's how this works. You can slide the handle connector into the different blade pieces, and that's how you make the different sword configurations. Apparently the G-Reco stuff is doing great in Japan. Forgot where I read that, though. All right, interesting. I seem to remember G-Reco doing kind of okay when it airs a TV show, but not super great. So how does this go in? You put them together like this, and then what does this slide into? Okay, so well, first let me try and see if I can do it with one sword so I get an idea for how it's supposed to... Okay, it slides in like that. So now I understand how this sword works. So it's not so much that the one sword splits off to a bunch of swords, it's more so that the blade breaks off to a bunch of different pieces, and you can kind of choose which of the pieces you have attached to the handle. So yeah, this splits off into 2 swords, but you can't really use both swords at the same time. You either use the doubled up blade or use the single blade. I don't know about you, but I think that's a little bit disappointing. Oh wait, no, never mind. I spoke too soon. I'm seeing something actually later on in the manual that shows how you can use both swords at once. That's good. That's good. Seems like you have a lot of different options with this model. Oh yeah, that just slides right in. And there is his primary sword, which I believe technically is supposed to have more color apps than it does, but honestly, I think this looks totally fine. It's got some nice separation between the black and the gray. I think that's enough to keep it visually interesting, and I don't really think it needs anything more. I think that looks totally fine. And that's the whole weapon? Yes, it is. So let me see how to make the other configurations. So you pull this off. You, okay, that's a little bit annoying to remove. You pull that out. And you separate these. I don't know if the Ariel's going to go full Super Robot by the end. I mean, I could definitely see it reaching like a Unicorn Gundam Episode 7 level of power where it's just absolutely insane, but I would hope that they have the restraint to not do that, but with what we've seen so far, it's entirely possible that they don't. Yeah, it is supposed to have more black, but it looks totally fine with just the gray. So how's the... Oh, okay. So in order to use the chain sword, you have to pull the connector out, and then you stick the chain in where the connector used to be. And now you have his bendy chain whip, which I know I'm not supposed to bend too much, so I'm just going to show you a little bit of... It's got a little bit of flex to it. You can't really pose it because it's just plastic. There's no bendy wire in it or anything, so you can't really get any good whip poses out of it, which I feel makes it kind of useless. So let's see what we can do with these swords. Yeah, this would make an awesome Cloud Strife custom. He's got the sword and everything. Oh, okay. So the handle just let me get this focused in. So in order to use the sword separately, you just pull the handle out like this, and then you slide it down. Oh, that's actually so clean. That is... The mechanism inside is super simple. It's just a sliding track with a couple C-clips, but... That is so smooth. I would not expect to see something like that on a high grade. That is really nice engineering there. No parts forming, no nothing. So he can use the two single-bladed swords like this, but you can also rotate the blade down, and it kind of folds in on itself. Let's see, where exactly does this connect? They show it folding in on itself, but they don't exactly show how. But it seems like you're supposed to fold it in to form like a type of cleaver weapon, sort of like this. I think that's pretty cool. Fan-made, I prefer anime-accurate models when it comes to high grades, but when it comes to bigger kits like master grades, I prefer them to be more detailed up. So it's kind of a half and a half thing. I like my 1/144ths to be anime-accurate, and I like my 1/100ths to be more detailed. Kat, I think, given Bandai's history, an armor-focused upgrade would be more likely, but I would prefer to see an overhaul of the actual suit. I really miss back when... Remember how back, like, I would say, like, 2011 and before, how halfway through a show, the protagonist would get an entirely new Gundam? Like, Kira went from the Strike to the Freedom, you know, Setsuna went from the Exia to the 00, Garrod went from the Gundam X to the XX. Like, they would get an entirely new Gundam. And nowadays, it seems like with stuff like the Barbatos, the Strike, you know, a lot of the newer Gundams, you know, the G-Self, they use the same Gundam all the way through the show, or the upgrade is just a slightly tweaked version of their first Gundam. And I kind of wish we'd go back to having an entire, like, new second Gundam for the second half of the show. That's what I would like to see. But I don't necessarily think Bandai's going to do that. I think it's just going to be an armor weapons upgrade for the existing Ariel. Yeah, the mid-season upgrade. Exactly. I missed that. That was really cool. I'm going to flip out the other handle on this. Actually, I'm going to fold it back. I'm going to fold it back in. I want to see how he looks with the giant sword. Actually, I should finish the backpack before I play around with them too much. Okay. Well, the backpack's literally just 2 pieces. And it is the, for the kit bashers out there that are curious about how this backpack goes on, it is the older style high-grade backpack like the striker packs use, where you have the single peg in the center of the back. So if you want to plug it into, say, your old high-grade Astray, you could probably do that. And if you want to plug it into some different kits, there are various build fighters and build divers adapters that you can get and use to attach it to different types of models. I would be mindful, though, that the peg on this is quite a bit shorter than your normal backpack peg, so it might not hold in super well to some kits. If you're doing a custom with this, you might want to actually glue it in, just to make sure it stays in place. It fits fine onto this kit, but if you're trying to put it on something else, it might not sit too stably on it. Yeah, actually, that is a good point. The full armor Gundam to the Atlas was the last time they did that. Which way does this go? Oh, it goes the other way. Oh, it actually pegs into place. Okay, cool. So the way you attach the sword is that little groove in there pegs in right there on the backpack. And it just locks into place like that. And then these pieces just attach over the top of it. Maybe they might go on the other side. Yeah, they do. That one goes there, and then this one. That one goes there. I know it's a high grade and all, but I do kind of wish that they worked in a way to make these hinge up instead of having them be separate parts. But man, look at this guy. Look at this guy with his giant ass anime sword. It is literally just sticking straight out the side of his back. This looked pretty crazy on the SD model in Crossrays, but it looks even more ridiculous on a normal-sized Gundam. But I mean, it's a Stray, so I feel like this is also kind of par for the course. I would say the weight of it, surprisingly, is not that much of an issue. I've got him standing right now, and he seems to be okay. I'm actually going to bring for the later part of the stream here, where we're actually handling the kit, I'm going to bring the camera down a bit. And I'm going to tilt it forward so we get a more traditional kind of review-style camera angle. And yeah, the lighting might not be super great. Let me see if I can fix that. There we go. That's a little bit better. Nope. There you go. Bring up my ISO a bit. There we go. Perfect. So when you set him down, he actually stands up pretty well. He's not leaning forward at all. He's just kind of sitting straight up and down on the ground. And yeah, if you want to have him displayed like this, you totally can. The only issue is that this is literally his only weapon, so if you have him displayed like this, he won't have anything to hold in his hands. And since he doesn't have optional hands, you're going to have just him just standing there with his normal holding hands looking kind of weird. I want to get it in his hands, though, and see how he looks when he's actually wielding it. Oh, yeah. There's no polycaps or anything holding these pieces on. They're literally just parts that are plugged in the model. So if you take the sword on and off with this guy a bunch of times, I wouldn't be surprised if these loosen up pretty quick. It's too thick. I was going to give them points for letting you slide the sword all the way down the hand, but unfortunately that's not the case. You got to take the back off his hand, and because of the way his arm is designed, you have to completely remove the hand from the arm in order to take the back off it. I think that's a little bit annoying. Oh, the no-name Astray has open expressive hands. Okay, that's good. I mean, it's a separate kit you have to buy, but still. Let me get him sort of standing kind of cool like that. I guess I should put these back on him too. Yeah, I could see these bits getting kind of annoying. A master grade kit of this design would be very, very welcome. Yeah, I mean, he looks cool. Let me try to get him in a pose where the sword is like actually up in the air more. He's maybe got like a... He's kind of coming in for a strike. He's got his head kind of turned like that. Yeah, I mean, he's... Let me bring the camera down a little lower. I mean, yeah, he's pretty posable. And he seems to be reasonably stable. For now, his wrist and his arm is holding up his sword okay. There is no polycap in the wrist. There is no polycaps in the elbow. So I have no idea how long this kit is going to hold up. You know, if you have this guy, you know, sitting on a shelf in a pose like this, will the arm droop over time? I don't know, probably. The sword handle is long enough that I'm not going to like disassemble the other hand to try to get it in, but you could absolutely get this guy to dual hand this weapon almost effortlessly. Let me actually see if I can perk up his shoulders a bit. There we go. Bring this hand in. Yeah, so I'm not going to actually put it in his hand because I don't want to disassemble that arm too, but you can... Let me just get him balanced here. And mind you, my cutting mat is super scuffed. It's like really weird and wobbly, so this is not like a flat stable surface that he's standing on, but he is still not having much of any issue standing here with that sword. As you can see, almost effortless dual-handed wielding. Very long handle. You can have him grab it pretty much anywhere along the length. And one thing that's kind of nice about it is that even though it is a round handle, it doesn't do that really annoying thing that a lot of Zaku Heat Hawks do where the handle is super thin so the blade just flops around. They actually made the handle thick enough that you can control the angle of the sword and it's not going to slide around in his hand. Now, it is going to drop down a little bit because it's not perfectly tight, but it is definitely better than it could have been. Yeah, this would look awesome in a standoff with the Barbatos. I don't have one, unfortunately, so I can't show it off. Ooh, you know what oh, crap, I can't. I was going to say I could show him off next to the Helmvidge, but that kit's in storage, so I can't do that. They would look super cool together, though. Yeah, this kit looks awesome. I want to try posing him now with the separate swords. Yeah, you can almost completely slide the... Let me get this to focus. Come on. There you go. You can almost completely slide the hand off the handle, but not quite because there's this little raised section at the bottom. Yeah, versus Barbatoros would look pretty cool too. So I wonder if I will have to disassemble the hands to get the separate swords in too, or if they're just gonna... Let me see. Yeah, so you have to disassemble the hands to get the separate swords in as well. There's no way you can just push them in from the bottom. I feel like it wouldn't be as big a deal if it wasn't for the fact that you have to completely remove the hand from the arm in order to do it. Grab his other hand. I'm gonna get caught up in the chat soon, don't worry. I just wanna get a feel for this guy's weapons first. Oop. By the way, these separate swords, as you can see, they are... Let me get this focused right. They are very long. They are literally longer than he is tall. So if you're going to have them displayed like this, you want to make sure that you... Yep, I totally put the sword in backwards. Well, you know what? There are no mistakes. Only happy accidents. And I gotta say, that looks pretty cool. Only thing left to do is see how he looks with the whip sword. Oh yeah, there's a lot of other kits you could take expressive hands from. Oh my god, yeah, Josh, do not pay $150 for this kit. It is not even remotely worth that. In fact, I would go as far as to say, do not pay a penny more than what it goes for on the actual P. Bandai web shop. Because this is an okay model, but it is not worth, like, a scalper markup. Yeah, I feel like your posing options with the whip aren't really that great because the whip itself can't actually bend or flex, so it's just stuck in this really weird, unnatural pose. It kind of reminds me of like when you load a video game model into Blender and like if they have like a chain whip weapon or like long hair or something and it's rigged in a T-pose, their whip is just in like this really weird stiff pose. It's basically that. His whip is basically stuck in its default pose. So a lot of like whipping type poses you might want to do with him won't look super natural. It looks like, instead it just looks like a really long wobbly polearm weapon. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that configuration. Actually, let's leave that on. I'm gonna try using the single-bladed sword with the large black handle. I'm gonna get caught up with chat in a second. Just want to make sure I go through all the sword forms first. There we go. That looks kind of cool. As many different weapon configurations as there are for this kit, though, there is no way I'm displaying him with anything other than the giant combined sword. Like, that is the way that you display this kit. No questions. Like, that is it. That is the way. I'm just looking at the back of the manual to see if there's anything I missed. Doesn't look like it. I think that's everything. Alright, so now I'm gonna get caught up on the chat. Da, da, da. Da, da, da. Read that. The one thing I don't like about the Lord Astray is how the sword is stored, so I made a custom backpack for my Lord Astray so the sword is stored like how Cloud does it. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a good idea, because the sort of horizontal sword stand this guy has is really weird. That's a really odd way to display his sword. I look at the dome and it looks cool. You're probably right about never getting a kit. Yeah, unfortunately that's probably very likely. Might have to pick one up, argue leave it like that instead of have him hold it. Good luck with that, big boy. This kit straight up vanishes. Yeah, this is a really hard kit to get a hold of. Just finish your own Load Astray? Alright, cool. You just give them the hands from No Name Astray. They open up expressive hands. Yeah, there's a lot of different kits you can get hands for this from. Sword without the black details looks great. The elevation of the sword from the suit's pretty satisfying to look at. Yeah, it's kind of growing on me a little bit. I do wish... I think what would be nice would be if there was some sort of articulation to this backpack. Like if you could maybe take these wings and rotate them down so it's like flat against his back, and maybe like rotate it like kind of side to side this way. I think that would give you some different posing options that might be really nice. No, I didn't buy the Real Grade God Gundam. Honestly, my Senantu Stein high grade hasn't drooped, so I could see this holding up the sword. I'm very impressed. If you're, depending on which weapons you have your Sinanju Stein holding, that's very impressive, because when I got my Sinanju Stein, even right out of the box when I first built it, I could not get him to hold the combined bazooka and rifle. That was just too much for him to hold. Any interest in the high-res powered red? Not really. Lord Astray? Yeah, Lord Astray does kind of look like an IBOMS. All high-grade Astrays before this one in Double Rebake Astray had open expressive hands. You could steal those. Yep, definitely. Read that. Yeah, this is going for crazy scalper money. If you see this thing for like 150, 170, just walk away. It's not worth it. I would say, like, I paid around $40 after shipping for this, and I would say that is the absolute max that this kit is worth. I would have definitely not paid any more than that for it. It's a cool kit. If you find it for a good price, get it, but it is not something to, like, overpay for. And yeah, the second printing did last a little bit longer. If they do another production run of it, which I think they are, it'll probably be in stock for a while. I would say the Vark wheel is probably not worth scalper markup, just because it's so similar to the Moon Gundam. They could just get the Moon Gundam and have the same experience, if not slightly better, because you get the cool funnel parts as well. Yeah, it's been reprinted 3 times in the USP Bandai shop. And yeah, Raxi, the high-grade Destiny Impulse would be really cool. So. Okay, well, the wrist came off with it that time, but let's get these weapons out of his hands so we can take a look at his articulation. And there's nothing more disorienting than trying to manipulate a kit while looking at a video stream of what you were doing to that kit 5 seconds ago. Let's get this guy into kind of a neutral stance. So he looks pretty cool from the front, from the side, from the back. I don't know, it'd be nice if there was something on the backpack here to help break up the solid black. Maybe some gray inside the vents. That would be kind of nice to paint in. Obviously that would be unreasonable to expect as color separation for a high grade, but I think if you're like looking to paint this and looking for extra areas you could add some detail, I think. Or actually, no, not even gray. If you put some red inside the vents in this, that would look really sick. Let's look at his articulation, though. So, he's got a hinge at the base of the neck and a ball joint at the top. So it does ball-jointed head-neck stuff. Shoulders have the usual swing-forward polycap, although it... Oh, it actually... The swing-forward polycap actually doesn't swing that far. Let me try that again. The swing forward polycap in the shoulder doesn't actually swing that far forward. This is actually about as far as you can get it. This bit on the side of the shoulder completely pops off, but you can... Nope, never mind. You can't get it out of the way. It literally just pops off, so... That's about as high as you're getting his arm then. He does have a bicep swivel. He has a pretty respectable elbow bend. Not a perfect 180, but I don't think it really needs to be any more than this. And then he does have a ball-jointed wrist that is a little bit restricted because he has this white collar piece around the wrist that doesn't rotate on its own, so if you want to have his wrist bent super far, this could interfere with any weapons that he might be holding in his hands. There are 2 ball joints in the torso, and wow, he actually has... Okay, if he wasn't wearing his backpack right... Actually, I'm going to take the backpack right off, because if he's not wearing the backpack... And I'm going to take off the back skirt extension too, because I want to see how much bend this guy has. Okay, literally not much more than that, never mind. I was going to say though, that is really impressive movement, because there's no... This doesn't have some fancy internal torso construction like the Messer or the GM ground type. There's nothing special going on here. It's literally just 2 ball joints, but it has a lot of range. That is really impressive for a high grade. Side to side's pretty great too. And of course it rotates as well. The front skirts do flip up. You could separate them if you want to, but they're so small and don't really get in the way, so I don't see much of a point in that. Same deal with the side skirts. They can be moved, but they're really small, so they don't get in the way to begin with. He has universal hips, he has a swivel, he has swing down hips as well, so if you want to get the hip down like that for different poses, you totally can. There is no mechanism to lock these in place though, so just be mindful of that. His knee is a pathetic 90-degree bend. This is literally all you can get out of it. Unacceptable. His ankle bends about there to there. There's no toe movement, and then the foot comes forward and back a little bit. It bends at both the top of the ankle and the bottom because it's a ball joint. These pieces in the legs are on a ball joint, so they can be moved and rotated around. However, you should take care with them because there's no polycap attaching them. It's just a styrene on styrene connection. And that is pretty much the articulation for this kit. Between the limited articulation and the fact that this guy has such a big, bulky weapon, I can't really see myself putting this guy into any super crazy poses. On top of that, the fact that they're skimping so hard on the polycaps with this kit that I can already feel some of these joints loosening up really makes me want to handle this kit as little as I possibly can. I'm going to get this guy with the giant full buster sword in hand. I'm going to put him in a cool pose. I'm going to throw him up on a shelf, and I'm probably not going to touch him again just because I don't want to risk loosening him up anymore. This is a cool looking kit, but unfortunately I think the coolness of it doesn't extend past the looks. If you want to get one of these, I'd recommend picking it up for the regular P. Bandai price. If you see this thing on eBay for crazy money, just give it a pass. It's not worth it. And that is more or less my verdict on this kit. Well, actually, Josh, you might be able to get a kneeling pose out of this. Let me see, because he does have those really... He has a lot of movement in the swing down hip section, so maybe you could... No, never mind. It's not even close. I thought there might be a chance of getting him into a kneeling pose, but no, that's not going to happen. You know, I kind of think he looks better with... Wow, my camera is constantly out of focus. I kind of think he looks better with these spiky bits kind of turned back like this. That looks a little bit more natural to me, like they're thrusters instead of whatever that is. Yeah, I'm gonna keep him like that. I think that looks better. Get his backpack and his waist armor back on. And yeah, the silhouette of this kit is really cool, Kuryasaku. Let me see. So, you can kind of rotate it. The problem is it doesn't really get you that much more movement if you rotate it out of the way. And also with how flimsy the construction is in the shoulder, you're kind of just going to cause the whole thing to pop apart if you fiddle around with it too much. Yeah, this shoulder construction really kind of sucks. And yeah, the red pieces do look really nice. I think they function like I think they're supposed to function like wires too, because in the game, in Cross Rays, when you use like his big super attack, these glow kind of like the GN cables on the 00 Gundams do when they go Trans Am. So now to build up the sword again. Once more, I'm going to show you that cool handle gimmick because I think that's really neat. And one of the cooler aspects of this kit, the way that just rotates in like that, super clean. And then there we go. There's his giant sword. Now, funnily enough, as much as we've been calling this a giant sword, I'm not sure this is actually bigger than the tactical arms. In fact, I think it's definitely thinner, and I'm not sure it's longer either. I can't compare them, unfortunately, since I don't have a 1/144 scale tactical arms, but I feel like this is probably as long as the tactical arms and maybe about half as thick. So, while it does seem like a ridiculously big a sword for an Astray, it's kind of just par for the course. Let's see, should I display it on his back, or I'm gonna put it in his hand. I think I'll put it in his hand, and I think he's gonna stay that way. And yeah, the Domel does kind of look like a Super Robot Wars design. Yeah, I mean, I've been ragging on this kit a lot for its build quality and its articulation, but this kit does not miss when it comes to aesthetics. Like, this kit looks so freaking sick. Yeah, I'd say that the whip's a hard pass. The separate swords are kind of cool, but they're not as cool as having him displayed with a single buster sword. Well, that was fun. I'm glad I ended up enjoying, like, just the general appearance of the finished kit as much as I do, because if I was just rating this off the build itself, I would be pretty underwhelmed. I'm thinking for my next build, I might want to go with maybe a high-grade kit that's not quite as recent, because after building 3 G-Unit kits, and then also this guy, I'm getting a little bit tired of the super cheap clip joint construction that they're using for a lot of the newer high grades, so I might dig back my backlog and see if I could find something older we could build next time. Can it hold up the Conan sword pose? I think your issue there is going to be wrist articulation, because if you want to have his arms, like, actually up, he's not going to be able to hold the sword like that. The closest you could do is to kind of have his arm out like this. And he can do it. He can do it. I would say that's about as close as you could get to it. But yeah, you're not going to get his arm, like, straight up in the air because he doesn't have the wrist articulation for that. Yeah, the weapon storage is pretty cool. I just wish there was maybe some more articulation in the backpack, so you had more options than just having it laying flat like a shelf. Oh my god, it is literally a shelf. If he was more stable, you could literally set things on his sword, on his backpack. Alright, so that was a good stream, guys. Little lower turnout than usual just because it's a Friday and there's probably a lot of people out doing stuff, but had fun, built a kit. I think I'm going to continue this streak. I think we're going to come back tomorrow, and I think we're going to build a brand new kit. I haven't decided exactly what it is yet, but I guess I'll figure that out tomorrow. So, actually, let me check the chat to see if anyone's runner holder backpack. This is now shelf Astray. Oh, actually, no, I haven't built the G40 yet, but I do have it in my backlog. I don't think I'm going to build it tomorrow, but that is one that's going to be on the list. And yeah, this would look better with some panel lining, although there's not a ton of panel lines on it. Like, there's no real detail on the shoulders. There's some stuff on the chest. There's like a couple lines down here in the legs. But yeah, in general, I would say in general, there's not a lot of detail to line on this kit. It's mostly what you see is what you get. But yeah, I'm going to come back tomorrow. We're going to build something else. Until then, though, I'm probably going to end the stream here. We've been up for 2 hours. We finished a kit. I'd say that was a pretty good stream. So thank you guys for watching. Special thank you to my patrons for helping make this possible. If you want to support the channel and get cool perks like access to the full unedited VODs of past streams and early access to upcoming videos, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my Patreon. Link down in the description. If you don't, that's totally fine too. Just subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next stream. And as always... Actually, wait, am I missing something? Oh yeah, NewType HQ, channel sponsored NewType. There's a link in the description. You can get your kits there. It's an affiliate link, so I get a small percentage of that. Thank you, as always, for watching. And as always, I am your host, Second Soundwave, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.